I've been waiting for Hollow Knight Silksong for what feels like 100 years. Okay, maybe not 100, but at least long enough to question if Team Cherry secretly joined the Witness Protection Program. But finally, it's here, and let me just say, it was absolutely worth the wait. Silksong takes everything that made Hollow Knight special, polishes it, sharpens it, and then hands it to Hornet, who immediately uses it to stab some poor bug in the face. I've put in several hours already, and honestly, this game feels like the perfect sequel. Bigger, smoother, tougher, and somehow even prettier. And yes, even though I'm running this on a potato disguised as a PC, no graphics card, just a humble i3, the game runs so well that I had to pinch myself to check if I wasn't hallucinating. Spoiler, I wasn't, but my potato PC was crying happy tears. Let's talk performance first, because I know my fellow low-spec warriors want the real scoop. Hollow Knight Silksong is surprisingly forgiving on older hardware. On my i3 with no dedicated graphics card, I was consistently getting 100 plus FPS at full HD resolution, and I didn't even have to butcher the visuals. Everything still looked gorgeous. The animations are fluid, the backgrounds are stunning, and the controls are buttery smooth. Seriously, I've played games that demanded AAA rigs and still looked like pixel soup. But here we have Silksong running like a dream on a budget setup. It's so smooth that sometimes I felt like Hornet was mocking me for not having an RTX card. Like, oh, you don't have a GPU? Don't worry, I'll carry you. And carry me she did. If you've got even a half-decent system, this game will run just fine. No excuses. Go ahead and install it. In fact, why are you even still watching this review? No, wait. Finish watching it and then install it. Now, gameplay, this is where Silksong shines. Hornet is nothing like the Knight from the first game. She's fast, agile, and feels like she's been training with Spider-Man in her free time. The movement alone is such an upgrade. You're dashing, sprinting, pogoing at angles instead of straight down, and even laying traps. It feels so natural after a while that going back to Hollow Knight almost feels like putting ankle weights on. I already know that speedrunners are going to break this game wide open with insane movement tech, and I can't wait to see those videos. Combat, though? Wow. I loved Hollow Knight's combat, but Silksong takes it up a notch. Healing is faster and tied to the Silk system, making fights more dynamic. Hornet feels more aggressive, and the enemy design pushes you to be sharper and quicker. Bosses are just brilliant, more dynamic, more challenging, and so satisfying to take down. I've only gotten partway through, but one mid-game boss I fought already feels like one of Team Cherry's best. You know a fight is good when you're getting wrecked but still smiling because the patterns and animations are that well designed. Even the small quality of life changes are fantastic. Trinkets are split into offensive, defensive, and support categories, so you don't have to sacrifice damage just to use a compass. It feels like Team Cherry really listened to the community and made improvements that matter. And can we talk about Hornet actually having a voice? After spending hours with the Silent Knight in the original game, hearing Hornet threaten enemies, sass NPCs, and straight up talk trash when she feels like it, it's just perfect for her character. It adds so much more personality to the game. The map is bigger, more detailed, and feels more alive. Areas are massive, and there's this incredible sense of discovery. Sometimes I'd think I was heading to a dead end, only to stumble into a completely new biome. The sound design is incredible too. You can hear everything from the tiniest footsteps to the brutal hits in combat, all mixed perfectly. And the score? Let's just say if the Hollow Knight soundtrack was already a classic, this one feels like a cinematic upgrade. You can tell the budget was higher, and it pays off big time. Now, let me balance this out with some of the criticisms I've seen online, because while I love the game, it's not without its flaws. The difficulty curve is definitely harsher in the early hours. Enemies hit harder and hazards deal double damage, which can feel cheap, especially when you're still trying to get used to Hornet's movement. Personally, I think the challenge is fair once you adjust, but I can see why new players might get frustrated. The game is clearly made for people who beat Hollow Knight. It expects you to be ready. Another complaint is that currency feels tight, like you're constantly broke. For me, it wasn't too bad because you don't really need to buy everything, but I get why some people feel like they're grinding. The progression also feels slightly more linear compared to Hollow Knight, though once you hit the later areas, the game really opens up. Some boss runbacks are still annoying too. It's not game-breaking, but when you're already salty from dying, having to trek back through enemies again isn't exactly relaxing. And yes, the game is brutally difficult. If you're someone who rage quits easily, Silksong will test your patience. But honestly, isn't that part of the charm? If you're into this genre, frustration and triumph go hand in hand. So here's my takeaway. Hollow Knight Silksong is the sequel we've been dreaming about. It improves on almost every aspect of the original: movement, combat, sound, art, story presentation, while keeping that same sense of mystery and challenge that made Hollow Knight a modern classic. It's not perfect. The early game difficulty spike, some frustrating boss walkbacks, and a slightly more linear structure may bother a few players, but none of that takes away from just how amazing this game feels to play. And the fact that it runs this well on a low-end PC, that's the cherry on top. If you loved Hollow Knight, Silksong isn't just a must-play, it's practically mandatory. And if you haven't played Hollow Knight yet, well, first of all, what are you doing with your life? And second, go play it right now before you dive into Silksong. This game expects you to have earned your stripes already. For me, Silksong is not just a sequel, it's proof that Team Cherry knows exactly what they're doing. It's bigger, better, and buggier in the best way possible. I can't wait to sink more hours into it, and honestly, I'm just glad my potato PC survived the experience. Highly, highly recommended. Before I wrap this up, I just want to say it still blows my mind that a game this beautiful and this ambitious can run on a low-end PC without melting it into a puddle of silicon soup. Honestly, I was half expecting my i3 to file a complaint with HR. But nope, Silksong is proof that great optimization exists in 2025. And really, that makes me even more impressed with Team Cherry. Now, I want to hear from you. If you're a Hollow Knight veteran, what was your favorite boss or area from the first game, and what are you most excited to see in Silksong? And if you're new here and this is your first time dipping into the Hollow Knight universe, brace yourself. It's not just a game, it's a lifestyle. You'll die a lot, you'll rage a lot, but when you finally overcome those tough fights, you'll feel like you just conquered Everest in flip-flops. So yeah, hit me up in the comments with your thoughts. I love reading your takes, and sometimes they even make it into my next videos. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're into low-end PC gaming content, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Because let's be honest, you don't want to find out I tested GTA 6 on an i3 without you. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.